Today's video is for all the women out there who are feeling isolated. We're going to talk about why it happens and what we can do about it. So if you'd like to know more, please keep watching. Hi, I'm Shelley. This is Fabulous 50s, a lifestyle channel that explores fashion, beauty and lifestyle for women over 50. And if you're a woman over 50, click subscribe and click the bell and you'll be alerted every time there's a new video, and all of them will relate to you. Today's topic is really important because as a woman over 50, you are most likely to be on a roller coaster of emotions and thought processes that just don't serve you. It's so easy for us to feel alone and not enough. And when you feel isolated, everything bad becomes magnified. When we see others on social media, everyone's life looks shiny and bright and magnificent, and we can often feel that we just haven't done enough and that our lives are nowhere near as good as theirs. And then we start making unrealistic comparisons to the person that you see in these highly edited photos. It just seems on the surface that everybody else's life is way better than ours. And then this can create anxiety, which makes us feel even more isolated. Many of us are experiencing menopausal symptoms that we just don't understand. Our bodies are changing, our moods are swinging, and our health seems to be changing. It's kind of like we're very different to what we knew ourselves to be. Add to that our children are leaving home and they don't need us the same way that they used to. That's why today I want to talk about some really useful ways to help bring us out of isolation and feel connected again. To feel useful, to feel valued, and to feel excited. But it's up to you. You've got to do the work. There's no substitute for actually just going out there and doing it. You've got to make this happen, and you can't make this sort of thing happen with the belief that you're not good enough. So, here are my 3 suggestions for you. The first one is a really cool trick that you can use. If you're feeling isolated in your life, imagine somebody who you wouldn't think would be isolated in their life. Like someone like Oprah. And imagine they switched out with you. They would take on your body and your situation that you're living right now. Do you think they would allow themselves to remain isolated for long? What would they do in your situation? And what are they doing differently to what you're doing right now? This is such a cool trick because it's all about mindset. Just by thinking about this right now, what you've done is you have just accessed what you think their mindset would be. So next time you're feeling isolated, ask yourself, what would that person do in this situation right now? This kind of sounds really, really simple, but when you start accessing what somebody else would do in your situation, you're activating different parts of your brain. And when you do that, you can start going and making different choices and have the courage to do something different to what you're already doing. The second thing I want to say is there is no substitute for actually going out there and taking some action. So this is what you can do to stop feeling isolated. You can join a church, a gym, a gardening club. You can offer some of your assistance to like a young mum who doesn't have family support around her. When you're helping someone else and not focusing on yourself and your problems, it's impossible to feel isolated. You can invite someone to coffee, make the effort, and don't wait for other people to call you. You be the one. You can contribute to your favorite YouTube channels and just join in on the conversation below. Start talking to the other women. And look after the relationships that you've already got. Spend more time on those. Spend more time thinking about what you can do with your friends or do for another person. And the third thing you can do is to find a buddy. I call it an accountability buddy. This has really helped me in business. It keeps me on track to grow and improve, and it helps hold me to higher standards. So you can do this too. So here's what you do. You set some guidelines for a new relationship. If you want things to be different in your life, you've got to do things differently to get different results. It might be difficult, and it probably will, but you are worth it. And to get out of isolation, it's worth it. This is going to be the kind of relationship where you connect with another person and share your successes, your failures, and your dreams. And your job is to hold each other to a higher standard. Okay, so here's some guidelines. Find one person and ask them to be like your cheerleader, your buddy, your person. And you and your buddy will help hold each other accountable to all of the commitments that you've made. Like, what are you going to do differently moving forward? You become accountable to them and they become accountable to you. The main purpose and the only purpose really of this new relationship is to uplift and support each other. So when you pick your buddy, you got to commit to these guidelines. Otherwise it won't work. You or they can't talk negatively about anybody, and that includes yourself. You set enough time for both of you to each talk about what went great during the week and shine a light on the things that you did really well. You've got to be a great listener, so you can't allow for things like criticism, judgment, and sarcasm to even enter the conversation. You have to make a rule that that's not going to happen. And then each week set one goal for yourself that's going to push you past your comfort zone, something that's uncomfortable and something that you're not doing now. You're going to become the cheerleader for somebody else, and someone else is going to become the cheerleader for you. And the most important thing is you're going to become the person who stops the conversation cold if your person starts beating up on themselves. Start with a once-a-week conversation with this person by email or video conference or phone call and see how you go. You may want to increase it to more times, but one time a week is a great starting point. So with all that in mind, I'm going to give you some ways to initiate this with another person. One thing you can do is share this video with someone that you already know who might be interested in being your buddy. You could connect with some of the ladies here already in the community. You could go to someone on Facebook or Instagram that you might be following, or I could start up a group here if anyone was interested in that, like a private group. Or you could ask somebody that you already know, like, what's the harm in asking? They could say no, and then you could ask somebody else. You've got to get started, and it is uncomfortable, but anything worth doing to push you out of your comfort zone is going to start off being uncomfortable, particularly when you're feeling so isolated. But doing these things is going to help lift you out of that, and you are just going to start enjoying your life a whole lot more. Isolation is a mindset, and it's something that we're telling ourselves over and over and over and over again, and we start to believe it. But there is a way out of it, and it's baby steps every single day, doing that one thing that makes you feel uncomfortable. Brené Brown said, if you have more than one true friend in your life, you have more than your fair share. And Brené Brown, if you don't know about her, is amazing. And I'm going to leave some links to her YouTube videos below because she's just really empowering and smart, and she's got so many answers. But it's true. We all think that everybody has so many friends and so many opportunities and so much more of everything than we have, but it's not true. That's why so many of us feel isolated, because we don't have that one person. So why not reach out to somebody today and ask them if they'd like to join you to become your person? It takes a really long time to build that particular kind of trust, but you've got to start somewhere, and you may as well start today. If not now, when are you going to start? So many people care. I know that for a fact. I see the comments from all of this community here at Fabulous 50s. I see how caring you are towards each other. So there's absolutely nothing stopping you today from making one small change. It only has to be this big. And when you do something small outside your comfort zone, magic happens. Don't give up, because if something in your life isn't working out the way you want it to, try something new. And if that doesn't work, try something else. You are so worth it. You have so much to offer, and don't hold back all of your gifts by isolating yourself from the whole world. Please give a thumbs up if this was any use to you at all, and why not get out of your comfort zone altogether and share it with someone who you'd like to be your buddy. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful week.